Welcome to Right on Track, a songwriting podcast. Thanks to Tone for tuning in. I'm Demi Michelle Schwartz, and I'm thrilled you're joining me on my songwriting journey. So kick back and relax, don't fall flat, and remember, stay right on track. Hello everyone, welcome back to Right on Track. Joining me on the show today is a very special guest I'm delighted to have a conversation with. Please welcome Andrew Dean. Hey Andrew.
Hey, Dami, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you
All
doing?
right. Oh, I'm doing awesome.
Fantastic. Well, I'm so excited because you sent me one of the best emails I've ever gotten. When you reached out to be on the show, you listed a couple topic suggestions and then you were like, or butterflies.
Sure.
And obviously that's speaking to my brand. So today we're going to have a chat surrounding the metamorphosis of a songwriter, and I'm delighted to get into this. But before we get into our chat, I would love for you to share a little about yourself and your journey in music so far, maybe some highlights you've had along the way, that kind of thing.
Well, I've had a lot of opportunities. I started out in the old rock and roll stuff. Did that for a while. Then got into country music. I've been very blessed to have been with uh, George Jones, Terry Clark, opened for her. Did a little time touring with Johnny Cash's sister Joanne. Just had some great mentors along the way, and that's how the music kind of evolves where it goes. The journey evolves the way it goes. So, yeah, it's been quite a ride.
I love that. I love that so, so much. What do you think one of the biggest lessons you've learned during this entire journey has been so far?
Oh, biggest lesson. Well, I'll tell you. I think how to be truly humble, truly kind, truly gracious, and love what you do. Because if you're not loving what you do, then you should find what really you love to do. So that's the way I would say that. Probably the biggest lesson I learned along the way.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I've only been doing music seriously for a little over 4 years now, maybe 5 years. So I started recording music in 2019, so it's going on 5 years. And during this entire experience so far, I've always tried to remind myself that I love music and I love songwriting. And during the difficult obstacles and things like that, I always try to go back to the root of why I'm doing this in the first place, because you're exactly right. I feel like anytime you lose your love for something and you lose enjoyment in it, there's just no point doing it anymore and you lack the motivation to keep doing it. So I've always tried to take a step back in those moments and remind myself I love what I'm doing and find that passion again when I start to lose it.
Yes, and Demi, there's going to be those hurdles. I mean, there's going to be those troubles. They're always there, whether it's a person or personal or whatever it is in your life. It's always going to be there. But the thing is, sometimes you do have to step back. But it's those experiences that also help you with your songwriting. They help you with the ability to convey things in your music that people can understand and really grab a hold of, in their own life. So. Uh, I think that's the medicine of music right there. It really, it's good for the soul.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now let's transition into our quote for this episode. So, can you read that?
Sure, it's from Drew Barrymore, and it's I've always loved butterflies because they remind us it's never too late to transform ourselves, and that's really cool. When you think about that, that's really cool because a songwriter that advances, there are some that get kind of stuck in a rut and they don't get out of that, and they can't feel like they're doing what they should do. But when you evolve through the music and let the music uh, truly speak, life experience and things like that, people really, that's when your music really takes off. I think, that's what I hear with a lot of artists.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like this quote too because it's definitely true for anything in life. I feel like sometimes people can have the mentality like, it's too late for me. I'm too old. I can't do this. I missed my chance and all that. But the truth is, it's never too late to make a change. It's never too late to chase a dream. And I really, really love this because it touches on the transformation and that evolution. And nobody wants to stay in the same space they were in, especially as songwriters. I don't want to reflect back on my debut album and think I didn't grow since then. I'm in the same place. No, I have evolved and I have grown through my life experiences, through learning more about the craft and all of these things. And I think that transformation and that evolution, it doesn't ever stop. It'll always continue. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about being in music, that we'll always create new things, we'll always grow and learn and change as people. And for that reason, we'll continue to change as songwriters and artists as well.
Absolutely, and the message of the music changes too. Now let's see. That particular album was "It Is What It Is." Am I right?
My first album was Dear Diary. It Is What It Is was
Oh,
my
Dear
second.
Diary.
Yeah, so I
Okay,
have two. Yeah.
cool. That is awesome. And I got to mention this. You had the ISSA Album of the Year,
Yeah.
and I was sitting right on that front row cheering, and I can tell you right now, you were one happy camper.
Aw.
So it was great to see. I love seeing people's success. I love seeing people cross those hurdles, go further in their career, and I love seeing that the reward, yes, but mostly the how the music evolves, the message comes out. Those things in the music are fascinating, and to hear many other journeys from other artists and other people in their music, I hear the growth, and I look for that in my own music as well. Always.
Right. Yeah, and I also really like what you mentioned about celebrating the other success and being excited for other people. I think that's really important because I think just chasing a dream in general, and especially in music, it's difficult. And tying back to the whole metamorphosis metaphor, when a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, like it's an unknown process for that caterpillar going through that transformation. It's can be scary. It's like a transformation. They don't know what's coming, and you come out as something more beautiful on the other side. And I think that as songwriters, we are taking that step into the unknown. We're embracing the possibilities and the mysteries and all of that. And I think respecting everybody's journey for one, and two, just celebrating everyone, because for me personally, I get such a thrill from other success because number one, I love seeing people succeed, but number two, it reminds me that I could have chances out there too that my time might come too. And I think it's just really, really inspiring to see people succeed and their dreams come true, because I feel that we're all on our own paths and there's no point getting jealous or any of that because we're all doing our own thing and we all have our own experiences and journeys. So finding a way to respect everybody's transformation from when they started and started chasing that dream to where they are now is really special.
Well, Demi, yeah, when you mentioned that, and that is so true. And you don't have to walk alone in the business. I mean, there are many people who are willing to help you, are willing to give you a hand up, and help you out. There's many, many, many opportunities, and it's great to have the network that you can surround yourself with, so you can grow in the business, you can grow in the music, and all that help and that love and that comes from your fellow artists. It's just a beautiful thing. And I have many lifelong friends that I've had over the years that come through music. And it's just it's such a growth process.
It is, absolutely. And I completely agree with the networking, making friends in the business, because it's not a competition. We're all here to create. Music is a gift. I truly believe that. And we're all giving this gift to each other, to listeners, to the world in general. And there's no enjoyment I see in doing this alone. Why would you want to do this alone? I just don't understand. There are some people who are just so fixated on their own path and everything's about them and they're doing everything solo. But genuinely, like from when I first started music, I could not be where I am without other people. Just from the music side, like my producer, my studio musicians, graphic designer, my web developer. But then on the personal side, having friends in the industry who I can turn to and ask questions and just be there to support each other because it is difficult. There are obstacles, but it makes the ride a lot more enjoyable and fun when you have people you can experience things with and you know you're not alone whenever you're facing those challenges as a songwriter.
When you're talking about co-writing with people, it's really important because two different teams can get together, and a lot of times, a lot more fan base hears your songs, and it really helps a lot with your getting exposure. So, I mean, everybody can help everybody in these situations, and like I say, it's a team effort, and it's great when people can join together and make it happen.
Right. Absolutely. And I love how you brought up co-writing as well because I think anytime you are actually creating a song with somebody else and just in the studio too with collaborating with producers, other musicians, things like that, whenever you are creating art with somebody else, that definitely plays a role in your evolution as well because I can't tell you how many things I've learned from other people, whether it's on the music like technical side or just about people's lives and growing more empathy through writing songs with people that are authentic songs. You definitely learn more about the world. You widen your understanding of the people around you. And I think that's just really great because as songwriters and finding inspiration in our lives, the best way to do that is to experience things, have relationships, all of those things. So, through connecting with others in the industry and learning more about the world around us, we definitely continue through that evolution process.
Oh yeah, and the music industry really it changes so much in so many different directions over the years. I mean, you used to have to really be a major artist to get out there and get heard. Well, now thanks to this thing called the internet and all that good stuff, you can get your music out there. And as indie artist, the indie artist is making moves right now in the music industry, unlike any other time, and it's wonderful to see. It's wonderful to experience, but I think that because of that exposure, you hear a lot more independent artists out there, and a lot more different styles and different things in music that really just have to perk your interest, in hearing what's going on. Uh, so many things that make that music change and evolve over the time, from whence you came to where you're going. And yeah, I've got a song, I've got an album just coming out. It's going to be about another month or so, but it's called Looking Ahead, and that kind of says that metamorphosis of the music and how it's changing and evolving and moving. This CD is more unique than any I've done. But that's how the music evolves. It's got a lot of different sounds, a lot of different things in it, different styles. I don't just stick to one particular style. I like to do several different styles, because I think people like to hear some variety. They like to experience. We all experience different things. Whether it's going to the beach, whether it's going, whatever it is. And so I put a little bit of that flair, that music, that tone into a lot of my music, and I think that's really grown for me. That's probably the biggest spot that my music has grown lately.
Yeah, I'm really resonating with everything you're saying. I completely, completely agree. I think it's so important to recognize how the industry is changing and not fight the system because things will continue to change. And that's a thing with the whole evolution and the transformation. Looking at the whole metamorphosis metaphor again, there will always be changes, and you need to go with the flow. You need to embrace those changes in order to continue to grow as an artist. If you stay in the same space when the industry is changing around you, you're not going to progress. So that's one thing. And the other thing too is I completely agree as well with the music that you're creating evolving and you point in different styles and those kind of things because I'm completely the same way. My first album, Dear Diary, was primarily contemporary pop, but then when I did It Is What It Is, I started to do like multi genre work. And if I'm being completely honest, that project got a lot of criticism from people whose opinions I valued because they were basically saying that being multi-genre wasn't a good thing and that I should have stuck to one genre and the project was all over the place and it really made me super insecure at the time. And so tying back to the ISSA awards, just winning that award for that album, it made me realize that those people who are saying those things were kind of stuck on the old ways, and multi-genre artists are becoming bigger right now, and winning that award gave me validation that what I'm doing is okay and it's not wrong when people try to make me feel that way. And so I definitely agree with embracing the evolution of the music and what we want to create to continue to explore as songwriters.
Demi, you have to stay true to yourself. That's so important when you're in a business where you're doing your thing. You have to stay true to yourself. You have to keep it where you feel your music is and how you can develop your music. You don't always follow the market. You don't always follow what so and so says or so and so says. You have to stay true to yourself and what you're doing, because that's where people really get to know you and what you're feeling and what you're doing in your music, and what you're trying to relate in your music. If you become untrue to yourself, well, then you don't even know yourself, and you're not even writing a truth in your music. I think people look for that in the music.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's a perfect transition into another point I wanted to bring up about butterflies symbolizing freedom, because whenever I truly embraced authenticity, I felt so free because I wasn't trying to conform what I was writing to whatever was on commercial radio. I wasn't trying to make others happy or follow their opinions of what I should be doing. I was solely doing what I felt was right for me, and I was being myself completely. And that was super freeing because I didn't have to tie myself down in any way. And going off of that too, what you were saying, people do notice when somebody's being authentic and when they're not. I think now more than ever, because of social media and all the things, it's really easy to tell when somebody's being genuine and when someone's trying to just fit into some kind of popular trend or something like that to try to get attention. And I've noticed just like through releasing authentic music, people will listen, and sharing the stories and interviews and getting the chance to unveil the inspiration behind these songs. It really resonates when you're coming from a place of truth because you're not having to fabricate anything or put on a face because what you wrote about was authentic. So when you're talking about it, it's also genuine.
Yeah, and I have to totally agree with that. It's really a process, and like I say, the when you look in the mirror and you're true to yourself and you're true to your music, you're doing the best, using your God-given gifts the best you can. And I think that, you know, like I said, I think that's so important, and a lot of people lose that. But when you look at a lot of even the major artists, you look at how they start out, and the ones that went the longevity. Uh, they changed. That you can see their change. I can think of artists like Elton John and various older artists that started way back, and yet their music evolved. It kept them current. It kept them up. It kept them, and I think their music got more real as it went along. You could really see and feel the artist and who they were.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too is I feel like once somebody is drawn to an artist's music, if they're drawn to them as a person and the authentic stories they're sharing, no matter what kind of style of music is being released, as long as that authenticity is there, people will stick around. You know what I mean? Like Taylor is a really great example too. Like pop, country, she like is bouncing all over the place with her genres, but the Swiftie fan base is so dedicated that she could drop probably like a rock track and people would like it. You know what I mean? And so I think just returning to the root all the time of being authentic is so, so important in order to just create that authentic, genuine connection with listeners as well.
I got to do an opening for her down in Lehigh Acres way back in the day. She had one hit, so at that time, Tim McGraw. Yeah, it's neat to see people evolve in their music like that. I mean, it really is. And like I said, it's true to oneself, and that's the way it has to be. I just want to ask you a real quick question, though.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you.
Okay.
I got a congratulations to you because you were nominated for an ISSA award. And what was that for?
So for this year, I have 6 nominations.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so I have Vocalist of the Year, Rising Star, Single of the Year for Kind Hearts, Songwriter of the Year, Emerging Artist, and this show is up for the radio slash DJ category, which is nuts.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's absolutely cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
alright. Yeah, that I like that. That's awesome. I'm gonna try to get in the front row so I can hoot and holler when you get on that,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, so next is the voting for the finalists, so
Mhm.
everybody's gotta vote for me in April.
There you go. You gotta put it out there, girl. That's right. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, but so about the ISSA too, like we've mentioned multiple times about authenticity and different styles. What I love so much about the ISSA awards especially is that all the categories, they none of them are genre specific. And I love that because I know like the big major award shows like Grammys and all that, like they have genre specific categories, but for me personally, like, because some of my songs are so genre bending and blend so much, it's hard for me to put in a box. And I don't think that art should be put in boxes. And so I really, really like the direction the ISSA is going with just embracing music as music and not having to genre classify.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I don't think that you should box anybody's creativity. I mean, if you want to cross genres, or if you want to stay in just a lane of a genre, and that's where you're comfortable and you're true to yourself and writing the songs that need to get out there, that's good. And I love the ISSA and Tammany Dove. She does so much good stuff for all the indies, and it's such a good thing. And whether you win an award or not, to be there and network with people, meet people face to face, talk to people, maybe collaborate on some music and get some more experience and knowledge. You know, never stop learning about your career, your craft, because there's always things to learn and do, and that is part of you know the metamorphosis of your music, your journey, your walk. So I mean, it's important to be involved.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I agree about the whole community aspect of the ISSA. Like I've been to a handful of like events like that and honestly like I felt like it was a big family reunion and even though that was my first time last August going, I didn't feel like an outsider. I felt like I was part of the family and that definitely played a role in my whole metamorphosis because I am super introverted. I keep to myself a lot, but I've realized that people in music, when you find the right people, are truly the best. And finding a community that makes me feel so welcomed is super special. So I love the
Hmm.
ISSA.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it too, and I'm always just excited to go. I'm excited to see what's going on. I'm excited to hear what other artists are doing with their music and how they're progressing in their music. I really, that's one of the big things. I mean, I'm always walking on cloud nine when we're getting ready to go, and I'm always on there just saying, "I'm just super stoked. I'm super stoked." It's like I am. I'm always ready. So
Yeah, absolutely. So looking ahead, we've touched on the whole evolution. And so just looking ahead in your career, are there any big things, like big milestone dreams you have that you're hoping to reach one day?
well, I'm always looking. I mean, I'm always reaching. I don't put a lot of expectation on where I'm going, what I'm reaching for. I have goals, but if you don't reach, you won't get there. So you got to reach, and that's the whole thing. Don't get discouraged on yourself. Be encouraged on yourself and reach, because you'll be amazed at how far you'll
Oh,
go.
I love that. That's a perfect answer. I really like that approach because I feel like as creatives, sometimes it can be easy to fixate on one thing and think, I want that. That's what I want. That's what I want to do. But honestly, like, I truly cannot tell you how many unexpected opportunities came my way that I wasn't even looking for. I was just going about my days and working hard toward just the general goals of like music success and all of that. And when you don't hyperfixate on a certain thing and you're just trying to improve and put out incredible music and network and make connections, things will happen. And so I think it's about trusting the process too, which definitely ties back into the metamorphosis. You have to trust the process and not rush things, don't force things. Things will happen when it's the right time for you, and you will always have unexpected moments along the way as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. You don't need to push so hard in a direction you think you have to go. You need to look at the whole picture because a lot of times it's where you're going, but it's not right in front of you. And I mean, we go to different places and a lot of different places, and I'm meeting new people all the time. And you just listen and talk to people, and you find that you new friendships evolve, new relationships evolve, new music comes out of that stuff where you can co-write like I said before and do things. So I mean, we went out to Texas. A good example, we went out to Texas, and it was a whole new thing out there. And I was actually up for an award, which I was not familiar with anybody. I nobody, and they called me up. I won vocalist of the
Oh my
year.
gosh,
Oh yeah,
congrats.
and this is so wild. Everybody in the room's looking around like, who is this? Who is this guy? I don't even know. Is he even here? And then I stood up, and it's like, oh, that's you. And oh, it was like, but it was great because I could get up on that podium and say to everybody in that room, I have a whole room full of new friends here, new acquaintances. I want to know each and every one of you, and I would like to talk some music. That was the best. I met some people there that I got lifelong friendships with, and boy, that's the beauty of the business right there.
Yeah. Oh, I love that story so much. And that's the right perspective. Anytime you have an opportunity to connect with other people in the industry and just open the door for potential relationships to form, that's so important. I love how you took that opportunity to say, you all are my friends now. That's really great. That's really great because you can't look at this as a competition. Even at the award shows and things, I never go into it as a competition mindset. It's a celebration of music. That's what it is.
Yes, I love that. That's great. Yeah, that is perfect right there. It
Yeah.
is a celebration of music.
Yeah, absolutely. And as independent artists as well, back to kind of something you touched on earlier, I feel like we have so much freedom to release the music and create the music that we want to create. And there are like mainstream artists that I've loved for so long that yeah, I've seen, like, kind of a lack in authenticity just because, like, certain labels keep them cookie cutter and things like that, and I don't know, it's just I feel really lucky, like, I would love to have the massive platform as a mainstream artist, but at the same time, it's really freeing to be able to just create what I wanna create and put that out.
Well, that's one of the beauties of being an independent artist too. You can put out your music. You don't have a corporation telling you what you have to do, or how you have to be, or what you have to look like. You can be yourself. You can be creative in your image, creative in your music, creative in every aspect of your music. And if you have control over that, then you can control where you're going and what you're doing, and it's not something that's just planned out for you and somebody else saying this is what you're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been a lovely chat, but just to wrap up, what final thoughts do you have to share about Metamorphosis for a Songwriter?
Well, I think you don't limit yourself. That's the big thing. You don't limit yourself in what you're doing. You always look for new avenues. You always look for new folks to collaborate with. You always listen to your heart, and you may have 7, 8 different genres in your heart, music you like, and you write that way. Well, that's good. That's very nice because you have to be creative. Let all your creativeness flow, and that's what's going to move you along the path. And just don't quit. You got to reach for it. You got to go for it, and just know in your heart you're doing what your God-given gift is to use for yourself as well as other people to relate to. And music is healing, so that's the beauty of it.
Yes, perfect. What a great way to end a fabulous chat. I loved having you on the show. Can you please share with everybody where they can find you online and listen to your music?
Yes, Demi. It's www.andrewdean.us, like United States. You can go there, and my motto is come on in and sit a spell because I've got pictures of people I've been with, places we're playing. The music's all there. It's on all the major platforms as well. So yeah, we have it all over the place. So
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much again for joining me.
well, Demi, thank you so much for having me. It's really been a treat, and we'll see you in Atlanta.
Yes, I will see you in Atlanta again.
Yay!
Yay! Well, listeners, thank you so much for listening to this chat with Andrew Dean all about the metamorphosis of a songwriter. And of course, until next time, stay
Stay
right
right
on
on
track.
track.